The XRP review. Crypto market goes down. Macro chaos. Bond market meltdown. Inflation. Tariffs. Oh my God. XRP didn't move. XRP used to be dead in the water at 50 cents. Now XRP, after going up 400 something percent, is sitting strong like bull between 225 and 250. It's not moving. It's going in a perfect little sideways formation, which is very much like what Ethereum used to do back in the day when Ethereum was a market leader. So if XRP is showing signs of, I don't know, extreme strength or outperformance, while everything else falls apart and everyone else is hysterical about 75K Bitcoin, or whatever the latest fear trade is, XRP doesn't move. Now, this tells you a couple of important things. One, and very humbly, nothing outperforms forever. In other words, if XRP is holding at 225 and there is a lurch lower in the market, XRP could participate in that down trade. You know, if it is kind of a mini bear, they eventually get everybody. But for XRP fans, that's your opportunity. You saw XRP below $2. You got to get after that. You got to get after that. It's not investment advice. It's common sense. When the orange man steps up to the podium after getting sworn in and all these crypto czars want to get out of the gate strong, okay, Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple, XRP, they're going to be made in America cryptos. And this event out of Los Angeles, like if it hasn't really sunk in as to the magnitude of that, there was policies in California that at best made no sense, and at worst were a nefarious attempt and like almost an anti-citizen agenda, right? In other words, it was so stupid, you have to question whether or not it happened for a reason that's not exactly, uplifting. What is uplifting? Taking control of your life. In other words, as much XRP as you can get sets you up in a situation for a point in the future when maybe ATMs don't work, or you go to log into your bank and there's an issue, right? Because if you can have an issue with a fire hydrant, you can have an issue with just about anything financial. And if there are problems with banks may be looking for reduced costs of transactions overseas. Keeping in mind, XRP is a cryptocurrency. Again, if you write that out in like a Grammarly program, it's one word, cryptocurrency. It's a cryptocurrency that helps banks reduce transaction costs, and it has a company and marketing behind it. That used to be a negative. It was centralized, blah, 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 blah. But the most underreported story of this latest macro storm